have a chance.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Representative Duffy.
Thank you. I'm concerned about the unemployment rate of our youth. I believe the number from those who are 16 to 19 years old have an unemployment rate of 23.5%. Those who are 20 to 24 years old have an unemployment rate of 14%, much higher than the national average. I would ask you both, and with some quick answers, are you concerned about it, and what impact does that high unemployment rate have on the life skills that our kids learn at this very important age?
Well, you're exactly right. It's a major, even though it's limited to some subset of that group, it's a major problem. Not being in the workforce means they're not acquiring those skills, so they're relatively being left behind. Yeah. What skills they've learned in high school or from part-time jobs or jobs earlier is deteriorating. So I think it's very important that we have a more robust economy. We've talked, we agree on some things, disagree on others about how to create that in the short run. But I also think we need to dramatically improve our K-12 education system. I think injecting competition into it is one. It's not the only, but it's one thing that could be done to improve it so that they wind up at the beginning of their careers with skills that are better matched. And number one. And number two, we reform these programs that we spend a lot of money on so that they actually provide jobs, not just spend a lot of money.
Right. Thank you. Mr. Goolsbee?
Sadly, and I've published on the subject that I'm about to describe some work, the evidence suggests that the negative dynamic you're describing is persistent and damaging, that if you come out of school in a period which it's hard to get a job or you're forced to take a lower level job than you should based on your background, that sticks with you, partly because of less skill development, partly because you get tracked in a negative way. So I think it's critically important. I think the most important way to do that is to get the overall growth rate of the economy up. But I think that the youth unemployment is one of the weakest and scariest parts of the labor market.
And that age range from 16 to 19, 20 to 24, are they the higher earners or the lower earners in our economy? They'd be the lower earners, right?
Well, yes and no. It depends where you are in the skill distribution. I was going to say, so for the 16 to 19, you have seen actually a big uptick as people couldn't get jobs to stay in school longer.
But you'd agree that on average, our younger individuals make less money.
Oh, yeah.
So, right.
Sure.
So if we want to improve the opportunity for the youth in our country to make sure they learn the skills that are necessary to be successful on a career track, can we grow more opportunity for them, create more jobs for them if we would just raise the minimum wage?
No, I think that the minimum wage has offsetting effects. It may raise the incomes of some, but it obviously will disemploy others. And it will tend to disemploy people with the lowest skills. It's not very carefully targeted in this regard, so teenage children of rich people who are working in minimum wage jobs will get more, et cetera. So it's a big concern, but I think that that raising the minimum wage is not the most effective way to try to deal with this problem.
And Mr. Goolsbee, you had talked about the growth of jobs. Will that help grow jobs if we raise the minimum wage for that sector of our economy?
Well, I think the most important word in what Professor Bossinger just said is the trade-off, that the minimum wage has trade-offs. That there are some people that it would raise their wage and make it harder to get a job. There are others it would raise their income. And the question and the trade-off is really, how much do you think that affects the overall income and consuming power?
My question is very specific, though. Will it grow jobs for the...
It could. It depends, as I just said. If you believe that the total income is going to rise for low and middle income people, then that could grow jobs, yes,
so your position is that
purchasing power.
If we increase minimum wage, that means that more of our small businesses or manufacturers, the places that a lot of these youth work in, will have more opportunity and more jobs for the youth in our community? Is that your position, Mr.
Well,
Goolsbee?
no, Mr. Congressman, my position is that the minimum wage does several things, not just one thing. And so just looking at the one thing is the incorrect way to look at it.
But I am looking at the one thing with regard to job growth and your position.
As regards to job growth, there are two factors. One is, what is the direct impact on the wage of the people who can't get a job? On the people who are still employed, their income goes up. And what's the overall macro impact? and the macro impact may outweigh the direct impact.
So to invest in our workforce and to grow jobs, a good policy would be to increase the minimum wage to provide more opportunity for the youth in our community.
Look, it could or it might not. It depends on what those values are.
Whatever you
We'll be
think of that-
tied, if you don't mind, and we can continue this discussion. But thank you, Mr. Duffy. As I recognize Senator Lee, let me let you know votes have started in the House.